What's up, everyone? Welcome back to the channel. Boozer here. Thanks for stopping by. Happy 2026 for you guys out there watching on January 1st. Hopefully you guys had a safe and happy new year. Today's video, we're going to be talking about the Frosted Path event that just started in the game. I'm a little bit late, obviously. I just woke up not too long ago, so a little bit slow to start for the new year. But hey, I'm enjoying the holidays, got a week off from work and all that. So just taking it easy. But first, let's jump into this. Frosted Path here. Now, this path is going to be interesting for a bunch of people here because the main rewards here will be the Yukimasa 5-star soul and the Hilvi 5-star soul as well. Yukimasa was the most recent Christmas fusion, and then Hilvi was the most recent Deck of Fate. Both of these probably some people would have. Yukimasa would be more common for people because it was the fusion, and Hilvi would be less common because it required soul stones to get Hilvi. But still, if you have either of these champions, you guys should be considering this event, considering that there's going to be two separate ways to get this champion. One is through training, so you get points through training, and then the other way is through summoning shards, so the usual summon shard event for the weekend. Now, are these souls worth it for you? There's not really anything else in this path that's really worth it. We have the mythical books here at the very end, which are gate kept by the souls, which are the most expensive items on this list. There's no avatars or anything like that. There's nothing really crazy in terms of cheaper value here. So if you don't have either of these champions, it's actually worthwhile probably just to stay put and not really spend too much resources. But if you have either of these champions, are they worth it to pick up the souls? Yes, both souls for both champions are very good. Obviously, a 5-star blessing for a damage dealer can be very strong. He does require accuracy unless you have a specific team built up for him. So this can be really strong on Yukimasa. On the other hand, Hilvi here is the better overall champion that I can see myself using more often. And a 5-star blessing for her probably gets her a banner so that she can utilize her speed aura a little bit more in arena. Just an example, but usually damage dealers, they benefit a little bit more because, attack, crit damage, survivability stats, and obviously a higher blessing gives them more power. But for me, I think I'm just going to shoot for the Hilvi soul here because she is going to be the more used champion on both my accounts. All right, let's mark down the quickest or best way that I would be using for the hero's path here. All right, so here is the full hero's path in one image, just easier to see on screen right now. It looks like both sides, left and right, are basically mirrored of each other, so the point values are the same. It just depends on which rewards give you the best value. So I'm going to go down this right now and see which one gives you the best value. So let's start here. And then we're going to go down. We're going to pick up the gems here. 125 gems is worth more than 400 energy. So that's pretty easy math. Just pick that up right there. The gems versus energy is not too much of a difference. I think the math equivalent is about 123 gems. So the 400 energy here is worth 123 gems, and then you get 125 gems here. Now, the big thing here when choosing the rewards for the path is basically you want to choose rewards that give you some flexibility, right? So the gems give you some flexibility because they allow you to buy other things than energy. And it also allows you to store the gems over long periods of time. That's why the gems here have significant value over 400 energy. There's almost no reason to take the 400 energy unless you're looking for some really, important resource that the energy is in the way of. So just a quick pointer for you guys, when you guys are doing these heroes path, you generally want to take the resources that give you the most flexibility, that you can hold the longest. So just this comparison again, gems, again, you can hold infinitely, whereas energy you have to use right away. And if you claim this right away, then it's going to energy cap you as well, which further hurts your efficiency. So down here, we're going to go down a little bit more. I think we're going to pick up the epic 6-star ore here. It's just a little bit more rare, a little bit more important, I think. Sometimes I use this. I use all of my 6-star ores because I ore up epic gear a lot on my account. So I like that over the epic book. I have tons of epic books. But if you want the epic book, then by all means, go for the epic book. After that, I like going down to the essences here. All right, so we pick up the essences here, and then for me, I'm just going to do my own path here. For me, I'm going to go down to the far right-hand side, pick up the book, and then we're going to head down and get the Hilvi soul right here. So this would be the path that I would be doing if I were to just take like the minimalist path without doing anything extra. And the total cost to get one of the 5-star souls is 75,250 points. If we divide that up by sacred shards, which is worth 4,500 points each, that gives us a total of 16.7 sacred shards worth of points to get the 5-star soul. Like I said, this is purely on shards. If you're going to be doing champion training, then you're going to bring this cost down. 16.7 is not crazy expensive. It's not the most expensive, but it's definitely, you know, a little bit higher than the lowest ever. In my previous video, I was doing some research, and on the previous heroes pass where there was 2 5-star souls up for grabs, the average cost was about 16. So 16.7 here, a little bit higher than previously, but not too crazily so. I find that these events with 2 big prizes is generally not as expensive as it would be if it was just 1 big prize. Like for example, Fabian's 5-star soul was over 20 sacred shards, which was really, really expensive. But in this case, 16.7 for one of the 5-star souls, it seems okay. Another thing to note about this path is that you don't need to collect a key for this, because you already have 1 key to start off your hero's path with. So don't worry about this single lock here. If you are worried about this lock, if you are worried about getting another key, you will need to go for the other lock on the other side. So if you wanted to get both souls, for example, if you're, if you're swimming in resources, why not? Let's just break this down as if you wanted to get both souls. And I think that's within realm of reason. Both champions would benefit greatly from both souls. It just really depends on how frequently you would use these champions or how much resources you actually want to spend. So let's break this down a little bit further and grab Yukimasa's soul as well. So first we would have to go down the left-hand side here, pick up the legendary book, go through the lock. After you pick up the middle lock here, the middle key here. So you have to grab the middle key. You have to grab the middle key. Unfortunately, you have to go through the 6,000 barrier here, and then you can go through the lock on the left-hand side. So you open it up, and then you get the Yukimasa 5-star soul. And then the total cost here for both souls would be 29.6 sacred shards would be the total cost. It's not going to cost you exactly double for 2 souls. You're going to save a little bit because you already made the trek down into the middle portion. But it does cost you a little bit here to pick up the middle key to unlock both sides of the path. So both sides of the path are open. You got both of the souls. Going to cost you just about 30 sacred shards if you wanted to go full sacred shards. All right, and just for completion's sake, let's say you wanted to get everything in this path here. So we're going to go down to the mythical books down here. So both mythical books, 27,000 points each, because you do have to go through the essences and the coins. So you got both of the mythical books down here. And let's say for completion's sake, like I said, we're going to pick up the 6-star chaos ore here. Primal chaos ore is pretty rare, primal chaos ore, but honestly I don't really value it too highly because we can get it for free in like free areas. And the total cost of everything in this entire path is just under 200,000 points, which is the equivalent of about 44 sacred shards. Now, I think some people out there would have maybe a lot of things saved up for training, so they can really bring down the cost of this quite a lot. But obviously, using 44 sacred shards for this doesn't really yield too much. Usually with that amount of sacred shards, you're at least looking at, something pretty significant, right? Like we're maybe talking about an eternal soul stone. I mean, we do get 2 mythical books out of it, but honestly, for 44 sacred shards is not going to be very great rewards. And I would highly advise using training to get as much points as possible before spending shards. Now, how many points are we getting for training and shards? So the shard situation is basically the same as if it's just a normal hero's path. For the training portion of it, I calculated that you're going to be spending about 15,000 energy just to get one of the souls. So about 15,000 for the 75,000 points for the for one of the souls. The way you use this energy efficiently is basically train up champions from level 2 all the way up to level 5. It's also factoring that you partially level them up with like brews, or at least the first couple levels, perhaps with 1 brew, 2 brews, up to 4 brews. But it does assume that you partially level up some of your food. But with 15,000 energy running, brutal campaign 12-3, you should be able to get enough points or close enough points to get Hilvi here. Keep in mind that this event is going to last 4 days. So my general advice is to run this event using your energy, your free energy, your advanced quest energy, all the energy you have in the game. Obviously we have Cintranos open, we have Doom Tower, we have Grim Forest, we have Clan Shop energy active, Tag Team energy active. Make sure you pick up all those energies, use it for this champion training portion over the next 4 days before committing shards, guys. I'm going to say that right now. Before committing shards, 100 million percent, commit your energy first, do your training first. There's no real rush to pull shards because there is an off chance. There is a very off chance. I'm going to say that right now. There is an off chance that Plarium makes some kind of announcement sometime on the weekend for other boosted events. It is New Year's Day, New Year's Eve, or whatever, and they haven't really given us much of a New Year's shard event at all. They've given us this progressive event. They've given us this frosted path. That's fine. That's kind of normal stuff. For New Year's Day, I was so expecting them to give us something like a 2x boost on something, maybe promo shards, something like that. We know that Plarium has done this in the past where they've announced events late while certain events are happening. So definitely this is within the realm of possibility that Plarium does this again. Also keep in mind that it is New Year's Day and New Year's Eve, and Plarium is actually off work. The employees are off work right now, so they're not actually fully communicating with themselves. They're working on information that was maybe a couple days ago. So you never know what they're going to do when they return back to the office, or perhaps they have an automated message for everybody set up on the weekend. So I would 100 million percent encourage you guys to hold off summoning shards as long as possible. Focus on the training portion of it, and then just wait. Just wait until the last day before you guys start summoning. There could be a potential 2x event like that gets dropped by Plarium. And you know what? And if they don't do anything like that, then there's no real harm in just holding on to your shards and just summoning later in the event. But the off chance that they do offer some kind of boosted event later on the weekend, I think it's actually reasonable to suggest that this might happen. Like I said, Plarium has done this in the past where they've announced certain events and then they've announced further events on top of that later on after you've already spent your resources. So like I said, guys, don't be caught with your pants down here. Just hold on to your shards. There's no drawback to holding back your shards until later on into this event. Last thing I want to quickly touch upon here is this progressive event here. It's a very good progressive event because it does give you a chance to get the champions that you guys are, obviously featured into the frosted path. You got the Hilvi, you got the Yukimasa. So, people can participate by trying to go for these champions while getting their souls at the same time. Or if you're lucky enough to pick up one of these champions early, then suddenly the souls would become more valuable to you guys. The other thing is Nishak's a very good champion. He's an older fusion, so not a lot of people might have him. But if you get him, he's a really good champion. And then Furo, to me, would be the best champion here. I think would get used the most, maybe. And definitely the one that I would be looking for when I'm pulling my shards. Now, if you don't have sacred shards, but you have void shards, now void shards has some pretty nice champions here as well, especially this one, Cecilia, the Red Hope. Very, very strong champion, void affinity champion here, of course, but no boosted void, shard chance right now, so it's really, really difficult to summon shards off of regular rates and then just hoping for the best. So I would definitely not recommend using the void shards if you have them, unless you're close to mercy, or if you have a ton and you just want to gamble instead of gambling the sacred shards here. Keep in mind that using void shards for this hero's path is less efficient than using void shards for normal summon rushes. Remember that normal summon rushes, sacred shards are worth 500 points and void shards are worth 120 points. So you get the rough equivalent by using 4 void shards. But in this hero's path, you need the equivalent of about 6 void shards to equal 1 sacred shard in terms of overall points. So you kind of see how it's less efficient to use void shards for this type of event as opposed to the regular summon rush events. Just something to keep in mind if you guys are thinking about using void shards. Lastly, there's probably some offers here in the shop where you guys can pick up some additional heroes path, whatever, frosted things, the frosted stuff. Here we go. You can pick these up in the shop as well. I guess $32.50 for $5, $5 US. Not too sure. I mean, it really depends on how much you guys value sacred shards or how easily it is for you guys to buy sacred shards. Sacred shards 4,500 points. I mean, we're kind of looking at, sacred shards being worth about $8 US here in terms of the equivalent for these packs. So is buying a sacred shards worth amount of points for $8, 7 or 8 bucks worth it? Obviously, you don't get any champions out of it, so it's not really worth, it's not really a one-to-one comparison between a sacred shard, but you get the instant gratification, you get the points done, you don't get any sweat there, but it might be more interesting if you just went for purchasing shards instead. Definitely do the math here for yourselves with whatever shard packs you guys have. Like, for example, this shard pack is absolutely horrendous. If you guys are looking at this, it's so bad. It is so bad. Like, even I know this is bad. This is bad. This is like forbidden. Don't touch this one. It's so bad. But anyways, guys, there's some options there if you guys are looking to spend and all that for the points for the frosted path. But make sure you guys do the math on whatever the conversion is between shards and points. All right, guys, that's going to be it. So to summarize here, if you guys are looking for one of the 5-star souls, it's going to cost you about 15 or 16,000 energy through training, basically just leveling up level 2s all the way up to level 5 with partial leveling, perhaps with brews. Or it's going to cost you about 16 and a half, 17 sacred shards. It's kind of average-ish cost, so it's pretty reasonable, I guess. And there is a progressive event happening right now at the same time, so you guys can definitely check that out, whichever one you guys want. Personally speaking, I'm going to go for at least Hilvi here, depending on how much training I have in the vaults. I'm not too hung up on Yukimasa just because my roster is pretty deep and I'm an endgame player, so I don't really see myself using him too often. But definitely a 5-star soul for him is very, very useful. So if you have him, and only him, you guys don't have Hilvi, you guys should consider going for a 5-star soul for him because it would boost him up quite a bit. But we got the point breakdowns up here in the middle, so make sure you guys keep that all in mind. And lastly, keep in mind that I'm advising you guys to, like I said, run out the event with training and using your energy for training, and then consider pulling your shards. There is a slight possibility that player might pull some kind of event for the weekend that they haven't announced yet. And if they don't, there's no real drawback to holding on and waiting on pulling your shards. Anyways, guys, that's going to be it for the video. Hopefully it was informative. Hopefully you guys are having a great New Year's Day. Great to start to your 2026. Best of luck on your shard pulls. Hopefully you start the year off with a bang. Let me know in the comments below what you guys are planning to do. Thanks so much for watching until the end. If you guys enjoy the content, make sure you guys hit that like and subscribe button. Would really, really help me out. Have a great day, and I'll see you guys in the next video.